showed you how our ancestors underwent a sudden spiritual awakening, like my Aunt Carol.
But unlike her, they didn't leave their husband to live on a farm in Wales with them, in a situation I can't discuss further, as it's currently under investigation by North Wales Police. Humankind was about to undergo a renaissance on the same planet we still use today, a glistening space rock known as Earth.
Writing new books takes a long time, so to give their presses something to do, people reached back through time. That's how the philosophy of ancient Greece suddenly came back in fashion and blew minds. At the time, most people's lives were as grim and joyless as my Uncle Martin.
What the hell is wrong with her family?
What was Renaissance? Was that a sort of 16th century ketchup?
Naissance's birth, so it was seen as a rebirth.
So it's not a condiment at all?
Not as far as I know.
Okay. What sauces did they use back then?
I'm not very familiar with the history of sauces.
Oh, so you're not the sauce person?
We got the wrong guy again. Pack it up, guys.
Managed to look past his little marble ghoulies. You'll notice there's an incredible amount of detail all over the rest of Michelangelo's body. Yet despite all this attention to detail, a quick inspection of his back half reveals he doesn't have an anus. It's a baffling omission. Maybe the sculptor got embarrassed, or the model had to leave early that day, or didn't actually have an anus. We just don't know.
You can see his bits too. I'm not imagining that. Is there a version of this with underpants on? You thought that was fine, did he? It's a bit rude, isn't it?
No, it's not. The beauty of the human body, of course.
But look at the todger. You can't say that's beautiful. Look at it. What's that?
This is a flying machine.
Doesn't look very convincing. Like my mate Paul invented a treadmill for his fiance's pet snake, and the sketches for that were much more convincing than this, and he was on mushrooms. Mind you, the prototype did pull the snake's head off. Just looking at her prompts so many questions. Who is she? What's she smiling about? Is she holding a balloon between her knees? And if so, what colour is it? Has she got a boyfriend? What's between his knees and how can we find out? Look at this 14th century painting of Jesus having his fateful tea party. The dimensions are all wrong. Jesus is twice as big as the others, so it looks like he's enjoying an intimate dinner with some schoolboys. Not a good look. And what are those bowls or seashells? Shoddy craftsmanship. Absolutely disgraceful.
Just burn it. Or just smear tomato soup on it.
Which was more culturally significant, the Renaissance or Single Ladies by Beyoncé?
What the Renaissance was trying to do was to reform culture as a whole, and whatever Beyoncé does, I don't think she's quite got that ambition.
The work of a few straight white men just blows Beyoncé out of the water. Is that what you're saying? On camera?
A garbled mass of the countries they'd discovered so far, with America nowhere to be seen. One man changed all that. Italian sailor and detective Christopher Colombo.
This is Plymouth. Gathered here in 1620 was a group of pilgrims who yearned for a better life, because like I say, this is Plymouth.
To arrive on the other side, still in Plymouth.
They must have been devastated. Luckily, it turned out this Plymouth wasn't the one they'd just left.
Some Native Americans taught them how to grow corn. In exchange, the colonists introduced the Native Americans to smallpox.
Galileo's full name was Galileo Figaro Magnifico, wasn't it?
I'm not sure that's right. As far as I'm aware, his name was Galileo Galilei.
Galileo Galilei?
Yes.
That's like me being called Philomena Philomene. According to the Old Testament, the sun goes around the earth, not the other way around. As far as the church was concerned, Galileo was calling the Bible a liar.
Rather than overreact, the Enlightenment, during which metrosexual elitists published essays that expanded humankind's horizons in a manner that would go unmatched until the 1989 release of Belgian techno anthem Pump Up the Jam.
For fuck's sake. What does that have to do with anything?
What
What started the tension between the British and the Americans?
Britain decided they were going to tax the colonies.
It's like the situation between me and my ex, Sean. When we used to get a takeaway, he would always insist that we go halves. And yet he would want to buy things like onion bhajis, which he knows I hate. But I had to pay for half of that. That doesn't seem fair to me.
Put that way, no.
No, and that's from a professor, Sean. Why has there always been this big cowardly streak in the Americans?
The only cowardly streak in that, I suppose, is that they dress themselves up as Indians. Would you voluntarily, when you didn't have to, go to jail?
Depends what facilities they had, I think.
The British troops of the time wore bright red coats and were consequently shot in their thousands while looking amazing.
Going down in style.
Eventually, Washington won, becoming America's first president, the single most revered role in the world until 2016.
It is just a country, isn't it?
It's organized around, has always been organized around the idea that it's a land of liberty.
Having a sandwich, that's an idea. Painting your bicycle blue, that's an idea. Going...
It hit especially hard in France, where the common man or homme had to scrabble about in the muck, while the rich had got so posh they'd evolved frills.
What the hell? She dropped her suit?
The French Revolution certainly made a lot of people who were powerful very, very worried.
I suppose Elon Musk could invent a machine that chops his own head off electronically before the mob arrives.
You know much more about this than I do.
Yeah, I'm just guessing.
Despite enjoying great success with his pointless tunes, Beethoven faced huge personal challenges in his career.
In the final years of his working life, Beethoven was dead.
Deaf.
Well, he was deaf.
The producer wrote it in the notes. Beethoven was profoundly dead.
Profoundly deaf.
Well, eventually he was dead too.
Silicon Valley boffins have recreated his mind and installed it into this smart speaker. Beethoven, compose a new symphony.
Was was das?
Compose a new symphony.
Why am I speaking English? I cannot see my face.
Play my Friday night playlist.
Why am I doing this? My God.
What the hell, it's not Pump Up the Jam?